What's up, everyone? Ryan K here from Refer with 4 signs it's time to ask for a raise. Now, look, employees always want to make more money. I mean, as an employee, you should want to continually increase your pay, not just to keep up with the cost of living, not just to increase with inflation, but to actually continually expand how much money you make. And to be honest, if you've worked in the same job for more than 1 or 2 years, especially in the current environment, and you're not making substantially more, then most likely you're being underpaid. Now, the problem is it's hard to prove. It's hard to go to your boss and say, I think I deserve a raise. And to be honest, it depends on a lot of different factors, including how big of a company you work at. If you work at a bigger company, they most likely have much more structure and organization around what types of pay levels are there. Also, that includes government or education or anything like that. But if you work at a smaller company, it can be really hard to explain to your boss that it's time to get paid more, and there's most likely less likely to have organization around annual reviews, etc. The easiest and most accurate way for you to think about this, though, is supply versus demand. So if there's an overabundance of people just like you out there looking for work, and few employers out there looking to hire people like you, well, then it probably means that there's an overabundance of people there, and you're not going to get a raise. Now, if the opposite is true, which is especially true right now in a lot of different sectors and industries, if there's a shortage of people looking and a ton of employers wanting to hire people, well, that means that the power is in the hands of the employee, and it's most likely time for you to figure out how to get a raise. You can easily judge this, and this is the problem is you say that and it makes sense, but it's hard for an individual employee to figure out whether supply and demand has switched outside of just saying it feels like it. And so there's 4 main signs that you can look for in your given job, especially your given company, to know whether things have switched from employer power to job seeker power or employee power. Here's the 4 signs. Number 1, if there's been major increases in sign-on bonuses, starting pay, and employer referral payouts for a given job. So if your boss is starting to increase on their ads on Indeed offers for sign-on bonuses, the pay sounds way higher than where you started at, or they're coming in and giving specific bonuses to employees if they refer for a given job, it probably means that you are in an employee-powered market. Number 2, if you get a lot of unsolicited interest and offers from recruiters and competitors to your company, if people are hitting you up all the time on LinkedIn, trying to get you to do interviews and you're starting to get a lot of offers, that's sign number 2. Sign number 3 would be, did the company substantially change how much they charge for the work you do? If they've doubled their price for what it is you're working on, but they haven't doubled your pay, then that could be a good sign. And finally, number 4, if you perform the job substantially better than the average person doing the job, and more importantly, substantially better than after you started and got trained. If you're now doing things twice as fast or 3 times as fast, it probably means that you have a good case for asking for a pay raise. Now, there's just one problem with this, and all of the above could say that you deserve to make more money, but what you have to be able to prove is that out in the open market, you're actually worth more money. And that's not very easy to do except for with one kind of the default way to go about it, which is, generally speaking, the best way to prove your value out in the marketplace is to get offered a job. Now, there is some catch-22 of this. Number 1, if you get offered a job making substantially more or making more than you make today, you have to be prepared to take that job before you go talk to your employer. So before you go talk to your current employer, you better be ready to actually make that jump. Because if you say you've got an offer and your current employer says they won't provide you more money, then they'll force your hand to either stay at the lower rate or take the job. Number 2, a lot of times making that case of I have a job offer, a lot of employers can deem that as a lack of loyalty or that you're going to leave anyway. And so you just want to make sure that when you pull that lever, there's a lot of other ways to make the case for trying to prove, hey, to your employer that you deserve more money, that you're adding a lot more value. You can ask to have a review. You can ask to sit down and talk about what you can do to add more value so you can make more money. Those may not have as likely of an outcome to get a raise, but they're also less likely to cause some some feelings of negativity from your boss or employer that you went out shopping for an offer. But so you're weighing which one has the potential biggest likelihood of getting a pay raise versus which one has the biggest potential to or the least potential to cause a rift with you and your employer. But at the end of the day, if you see that the market out there is offering way more than you make today, then it's most likely time to have that hard conversation. And there really are only two routes. Make the case to your employer, ask for a review, ask to sit down and talk about it. But again, be very cautious about demanding more money, saying, I deserve more than you're paying me. Make the case or ask and say, what do I need to do to get paid more money? What could I do to improve my ability to make more money? What can I do to expand the way that I bring value to the organization? And most of the time, if you've done your homework, your boss is going to say, oh my gosh, you're providing crazy value already. We should look at increasing your pay. Or go out and get a job offer. Those are the two best ways to increase your pay. But once again, you should do your homework to figure out whether the market has more demand for you than it did before up front before you go to all that work. So hopefully this tip found you well today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at askryan@refer.io. Go over to refer.io and subscribe for our job alerts. And then finally, if you love this video, go down and subscribe to our channel. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later.